Did you just buy a Z200 series, or are you looking to purchase a Z200 series? Well, today I'm going to do an orientation on it for you. Zach here from Kubota of Lynchburg, and today I wanted to kind of give an overview and an orientation on the Kubota Z200 series. So I'm not going to dive into the specs and all the features here, but I'm going to kind of give you an idea of how to run it, what to look for, and what some of the features are in case you purchase one and didn't get a full walk around. So I have two models here. They're both the 54-inch models, but one is the newer Z252KW and a Z252KH. One stands for Kawasaki, one stands for Kohler, and there's a couple different feature differences between the two. I'm going to touch on those real quick, so as I'm going through the orientation, if you have one versus the other, you'll know what they are. The one with the Kohler engine, obviously it has a Kohler engine. The one with the Kawasaki has a Kawasaki, so that's easy. The one with the Kohler engine, though, does not have a folding roll bar. This is a solid roll bar. You cannot fold it down or take it off. You're not supposed to take it off. So that is solid and rigid. Whereas the one with the Kawasaki engine, you guys can see, has a folding roll bar. You can fold it down to get through those low-hanging limbs. You can pick it back up to have that safety feature on it. So you do have folding roll bars to it. The other really nice feature to the one with the Kawasaki engine is going to be the suspension seat. So you do have a fully adjustable suspension seat on this one. There's a knob here that you can twist and change how much weight is taking off of it. So that is one of the nicer upgrades to the Kawasaki engine model options. And it costs you about $600–700 more to get these kind of little upgrades. Some people think it's worth it, and some people say not worth it. So up to you guys. But if we go ahead and take a look at these mowers, the first thing is you do have pneumatic front tires. I like to start on the front, work my way back, but you do have pneumatic front tires. So you want to check your air pressure. Actually, underneath the seat, there's going to be a little diagram that shows you how much air you're supposed to have in them. Otherwise, refer to your operator's manual, but you do want to make sure that these are even on air pressure. You don't want one to have 25 PSI and one to have 10 PSI because they will ride the ground a little bit differently and make the cut uneven. Same thing with your back tires. Please make sure they have the same PSI, the same pressure in them. If you have 10 or 15 more PSI in one versus the other, you will be changing the way that your deck cuts because you're going to be at an angle and you're not going to leave as pretty of a cut. The next nice thing about this new Z200 series is going to be a lift-out deck platform. So you can basically pick this out and you have very easy access to your mower deck. This is to clean it out, to do maintenance on your belt or your pulley systems. And you can see it rides on 4 rubber shocks, so there's no rattling or vibration or anything like that. It's very nice and comfortable when you're sitting on it. And of course, they have these little imprints, I'll call them, to give you some grip in case it's wet or there's grass clogged up on it. As we work our way back, something cool to notice, this is your fuel gauge. There's no digital fuel gauge. If I push it, you might see fuel sloshing around in there. You can see it's just over half tank fuel sloshing. That's the only way to tell what your fuel level is at. There is no digital fuel gauge. It's all just visual. So keep an eye on that. If you do run out, it's got an electronic fuel pump. Put your gas back in it, turn the key for a while, and it'll start itself right back up. So these seats do have slides forward and back. So they are fully adjustable, suspension or non-suspension. So you can push this and it'll slide forward or back depending on how tall or short you are. And one of the reasons that's important is because the mower deck height adjustment on this is done by your foot and by this knob right here. So right now, if I were to push this lever all the way down, it's going to lock itself at the top. So your first push is locking itself at the top. Your second push is going to be basically dropping the mower deck to whatever height you choose on this knob right here. And you can choose anywhere from 1.5 inches to 4.25 inches. And that's going to just be your preference based on what type of grass you have, whether you're trying to cut it real short and so you only have to cut every 2 weeks, or trying to keep it longer so it's healthier for the grass, up to you. But this is going to basically lock the deck up and bring the deck back down to cutting position. This deck, of course, fully welded steel deck, is very nice. There are no grease fittings on it. These are sealed spindles and sealed bearings, so you don't have to worry about greasing anything at all on this machine other than keeping your oil level and hydraulic fluid level up. There is no grease fittings that you have to worry about. You do have handles here, which are actually a little bit weighted handles. They've added some weight to them, so they're very smooth, very comfortable. Some of the cheaper brands and cheaper models, they don't have that, and so it's really jerky. So they're very smooth transmission and very smooth feel to it. And we'll go over basically how to use your handles here in just a second. As you work your way back, you're gonna have a parking brake lever here. This is to take your brake on and off. So basically you pull back and over, and that's your parking brake off. And you do have a safety switch on this parking brake, so if you try to pull your handles in while the brake is on, it will shut the machine off. And you also have your hour meter. Sometimes it's located over on the right-hand side, but on this one it's the left-hand side. You got a cup holder, got a little tool holder here, and in this tool holder, somewhere I'm not seeing it, I think there's a 12-volt outlet. Maybe not on this model, maybe just on the 400 series. No 12-volt outlet on this one. Never mind, I didn't say that. So, and then when we go to the other side, we're going to have our controls for starting and operating the machine. You're gonna have your start button, so there's a little key that goes in here. This is a push start. What I really like about this is you can actually pull the choke with one, push start with your thumb, push the choke back down, all in one motion. It used to be you'd have to use two hands to turn the key and everything like that to it. Not anymore, very easy. This yellow button is very important. This is what turns your blades on and off. This is your PTO switch. Pulling it up will turn your blades on. Pushing it down will turn your blades off. I highly recommend that with your throttle here that you do not turn your blades on at any higher than a half a throttle. If you're throttled all the way up and you're turning your blades on and off, that's a lot of wear and tear on your belts and your clutches and everything like that. So keep it no more than half throttle when you're disengaging and engaging your blades with your PTO. So keep that in mind as well. You also never want to start your zero turn at full throttle. Always have it throttled down. You don't start your car with your foot pedal on the gas, right? You let it idle first. Same thing with a lawnmower. So operation. I'm going to go to this one because my keys are sitting in it. So operation of one of these machines is, again, you would basically pull your choke up to start it if it's cold or if it's a fresh start, and you push your button. As soon as the engine starts to catch, you push your choke back down. And again, you want your throttle down to be low, so I'm going to choke up. It catches, I push back down. Then you can throttle up. Push button start to stop it as well. Very easy there. So what are you going to do first? The first thing you're going to do, just like everybody, you're going to start the machine, you're going to pull your handles in like you're ready to roll, and what's going to happen? Your mower is going to shut off on you. It happens to everybody. Even if I tell people about it, they still do it. It's perfectly fine. What happened is it doesn't want you to ride against the parking brake. So remember, the parking brake's over here. So what you want to do is you want to start the machine, take off your parking brake, pull your handles in, and now you can move. And then to stop it, you put your handles back out, put your parking brake on, and you can turn it off if you're done, or at that point you can step on and off the machine. So again, you're going to choke, start, push that back down, throttle up just a little bit, parking brake off, handles in, and you're good to go. So how you operate one of these, try to throttle down, keep the volume down, is it's kind of like paddling a canoe. If you're paddling a canoe on the right-hand side, you're actually going to turn left. So if I'm putting power on the right-hand side, I'm going to turn left. If I'm putting power on the left-hand side, I'm going to turn right. It's kind of like you're shifting your body into it. So you're pushing your body in, turning each way. Once you use it for a couple seconds, you'll get very much used to it. It's very similar on the back side of backing up. You pull backwards, it goes backwards, push forward, you go forward. It's very easy, and you can go. Now the joys of a zero turn is when you get good at pushing forward with one side and pulling back with the other side to go in a zero. It's why it's called a zero turn. You can see I got real close to the other one, but we have control because you can spin right in a zero radius. And basically you're drawing a zero on the ground, you're drawing a circle on the ground with it. So that's your operation controls right there. Again, first, get it in the middle of a field or an open space and get used to your controls on it, and it'll take no time at all. I was looking for a key to turn off its push button stop, so yeah, handy. I do like that. So that's how you control it. Again, you're going to pull those handles in with the parking brake on, and it's going to shut off. No worries. Put your handles back out, start it right back up again. You're good to go. So as we work our way back a little bit, we're going to take a look underneath the seat. The seat will flip up, and you have your fuel tank underneath here. And you're gonna have your battery, so if you ever need to jump it or replace your battery, you're gonna have your battery there. You've got some extra fuses right here, so you know your start fuses, your power fuses, your PTO fuses. If you blow a fuse, it's right there. You do have a fuel shutoff for your fuel tank. Speaking of fuel tank, ethanol-free gas is ideal. If you can get ethanol-free gas, you want that because this is a carbureted engine, and ethanol will clog up your carburetor and eat away at those gaskets. If you only have ethanol gas to use, that's fine. Just put some fuel treatment in it. Good old Seafoam or any kind of gas treatment, just like you'd put in your car and truck. Put that in the fuel tank every couple times of using it to help keep things clean. But ethanol-free gas, if possible, please use it. It'll extend the life without issues by a lot. Let's see, you do have a safety switch for the seat as well. I didn't mention that, but if you were to get up off the seat without your parking brake on, it will shut off. So you got a safety switch that goes up to there. That's about it, but this fuel tank keeps a nice low center of gravity. This cylinder here is actually an assist cylinder for raising and lowering your mower deck, so you're not picking up all 250 pounds of mower deck with that 1 foot. It's gonna take some of that pressure and weight off of it. So we're gonna slide the seat back down. A couple other maintenance things on these machines is this white tank here is very important. That is your hydraulic fluid overflow or reservoir. You can see it says in big letters, do not top off. The full line is basically 1/8 of an inch off the bottom. You can see that line right there is 1/8 of an inch off the bottom. That is all you want to have in there of 20W50 engine oil. And so the 20W50 engine oil will basically just go in here. Yes, it sounds weird that you're putting engine oil into a transmission, but that is what it is supposed to be. And there should be basically almost none. You can tell this one hasn't been checked over before sale yet, but almost none or just a tiny little bit in the bottom there. If you fill this up to the top and you start using the machine, as that fluid heats up and expands, it will blow this top off and make a horrible mess. So I recommend don't do that. Some other maintenance things here is going to be your engine oil check is right over here. So you can just spin this off and check your engine oil. Do this every single time before mowing your grass. It takes you 10 seconds to check your engine oil. And if you had a leak over the last week before you used it and you start this engine up and run it without engine oil, you will have a very expensive mistake to fix. So it is worth checking to make sure you have engine oil in there every single time. This little silver lever here is a transmission release. So if I were to pull backwards on this, you can see it's kind of going further back than that hole. That is releasing the pressure on the transmission. So if it dies, you can push or pull the machine. You take your parking brake off and you can push or pull it. And on the left-hand side is a very similar one, but most people can't reach in and pull both and push or pull the machine. So on this side, you can see, try to reach in where you can see from the top. Go ahead and look from the top. You can see this extra hole there. So you would pull this up, push it back. I can't see. All right. And it will lock into, I have to take the parking brake off, but it will lock into that back hole, so you only have to pull the right-hand side. So that's your transmission release if you ever need to push this mower. Ideally, you won't have to, but if you do, there you go. Also on the engine, this is your air filter. So you got your air filter housing and everything in there. You want to change this every couple hundred hours, but you want to keep it clean. You want to blow it out with an air nozzle, or if you don't have an air nozzle, do replace this at least every 2 to 3 years. It'll get clogged up with little dust and dirt and everything like that, and it'll reduce the power to your engine. And one of the cool little things is you do have a little hitch point on the back here. So if you wanted to bring like a little drop trailer or pull a little core aerator or something like that behind this machine, you could absolutely do that and drop a pin through there and be good to go. So that's the overall basic overview of it. It's here to cut grass. So you're gonna wanna sharpen your blades every once in a while. And that's gonna basically depend on what material you're cutting, whether you're in sandy conditions or very rocky conditions, but keep your blades sharp. For changing your blades or taking them off to sharpen it, it is a 30mm socket. It's a big socket, but it's a 30mm. So that's what you'll need for taking your blades on and off. Basically what you would do is you jack up the front of this machine, get underneath there with a 30mm socket, and just take that off. Take the blades in either to be sharpened, sharpen them yourself, or just replace them. They're not that expensive. They're like 21 bucks a piece right now. It's pretty easy to replace them. Trying to think other maintenance things. Talked about the fuel. Change your oil filter at 10 hours. After that, you're going to want to change your engine oil and oil filter every 100 hours or every year or every other year, depending on which comes first. I recommend at least every other year, but once a year, change your engine oil is ideal. Check your tire pressures all the time. Check your deck level adjustment. So take a measuring tape, park it on like concrete or asphalt, and measure the 4 corners of your deck and make sure they're all level. Otherwise, you won't be getting a perfect cut. And that can easily be adjusted with this bolt right here. You loosen the nut, you tighten or loosen your bolt, and that'll raise or lower the corner of your deck to adjust and level your deck on it. So these things came with a 4-year and come with a 4-year warranty, so it covers everything but your wear items. So if you need warranty work done, call your local dealership, of course. But hopefully that teaches you guys a little bit about your new mower.